guys, welcome to today's video. I want to disclaim before I even get into this that my air conditioning is broken right now. It is the hottest day of the year according to the news today, so of all days of course, but last night we were sleeping and like we both started getting really hot and my husband was like adjusting it and for some reason like it was set to 70 but the room kept reading like 77. So we realized it's not working, it's not blowing out cool air. So yeah, if you see some upper lip sweat forming or I appear that I'm having hot flashes, I just have no air conditioning. So yeah, today's video, I think I'm gonna go ahead and just play with some new makeup. I've got this glitter here that I really want to play with. I've got some warm tone shadows and yeah, we'll just see where the look ends up. I feel like whenever I start my makeup, I don't really know where I'm going. I kind of know specific products I want to use, but I sort of just see how the look starts to come together and then I kind of feed off of that. So yeah, 9 times out of 10 when I start a video, I have no idea what exactly I'm going to be filming, but we will see. So I'm going to start with the skin as usual, and I'm just going to start with my Woke Up Like This foundation in Arizona. I'm going to use 2 pumps, and then I'm just going to pounce that into my skin like usual. Okay, so I like this coverage. It's nice and radiant, obviously. My hair is straight because I got out of the shower and I washed my hair today. I know, great job for me. And I blow dried it and I was like, there's no way I can sit here and like finish styling it or curl it because I was getting so overheated. So I'm gonna have to like break my whole getting ready process into chunks so that I'm not like melting off, which is just so great. But yeah, today I wanted to show you guys, I'm gonna do a little bit of cream contour bronzing using foundation. So I mentioned this to you guys that I like to use foundations to shade and light my face. And I feel like I don't, you know, do it for like an everyday type of look. Typically it's more of like my full glam going out style of contouring, but I thought today I would show you because I really want to go for this bronzy look. The idea I have in mind for my eyes is gonna be like a golden, summery, warm toned eye. And I feel like warm, bronzy skin really suits that look nicely. And I'm gonna go with Heat. And Heat is a little bit warmer. It's got a yellow undertone. So this is more of a cream bronzer type of concept than contouring. Because typically with contouring, you wanna go a little bit cooler. However, I wanna say that if you use contour powders and feel like they always look muddy on you, I don't believe that everybody is suited for a cool toned contour. I know that's like the classic thing to create shadows, you need that gray, cool undertone, but sometimes it just looks muddy on certain skin tones and that's okay. You can definitely use bronzing to help carve out your face structure without having to go with those super cool tones. So if you're one of those people that contouring just doesn't really work for you, go ahead and use a warmer shade. There's no rules, you can do whatever you want. So I'm gonna go in with a warmer shade today, and I'm just gonna pump 1 pump on the back of my hand, and I'm not even gonna use all of that. And then I'm gonna go in with this duo fiber brush. This is a MAC 130. I really think that a small duo fiber brush is so important to have in your toolkit for makeup because if you're using cream highlight, cream contour, anytime you wanna buff out small areas and be more precise, the thing with cream contouring is you don't want to blend out too much and have it spread. You really want to keep it where you intend for it to go because then you can start to look muddy, and if the contour comes down too far or the bronzer comes down too far, you don't really create the dimension that you're going for. So I always think that this type of brush is a really amazing thing to have, and a lot of brands make them. You can get them super cheap, but just this shape and general duo fiber small head is really helpful for precise application of cream products. So I'm gonna go ahead and just take a tiny bit on the back of my hand, and I'm just really buffing that out so that I don't have a ton of product. And this is gonna look a little bit dark at first, but don't be alarmed, it is dark. And you're just gonna start buffing that into the skin. So now that it's placed there, I'm gonna leave that. I'm gonna do the other side. Okay, and then I'm gonna go back to the Beauty Blender. So when you're blending, you want to blend up, you don't want it to blend down. So I'm just going to take the round side of my Beauty Blender and just start to buff that up. And the reason I like the round side is because it still has some of that foundation on it, so it's going to help it all just sort of mix together. So So see, you've just got a little bit of dimension there, but it looks so skin-like because you're using a foundation color, which is a skin-toned color, and it just melts into the skin much better than powders often do, which can tend to sit on top of the skin. So we're gonna go ahead and do this side. And then if you want to, you can take the side of it and just go over everything just to make sure that you've really blended it in. But just keep working it in until you feel like you've got a seamless gradient and that it's not, you know, anything harsh or too obviously contoured. And then I'm gonna go in and do the same thing with my forehead. And I'm just gonna use a little bit here. And this just kind of helps create a smaller forehead and kind of bring your face in. So you won't need to do this if you already have a really tiny forehead. I just like to do it because it helps bronze the perimeter of my face and warm it up in a really natural, subtle way. So just buffing that out. And again, you always want to be buffing outwards and upwards because if the more darkness you bring into the face or down in the face, really defeats the purpose of that lifting motion from contouring. There we go. So we've got this really nice bronzy look. And if you want to, you can even take it on the sides of your nose. I'm not going to do that today, I don't think, because I'm just going to wait until later and see if I do want to carve out my nose and maybe use a powder for that. But for today, I think I want to keep this really bronzy and beachy and kind of glowy. So I don't think I'm going to go as far as nose contour for today. But I'll show you, if you do, you can just take any excess and do this and then buff it out with your beauty blender. So now I'm going to go in and conceal. And I'm going to use the Milk Makeup Flex Concealer, and this is in the shade Light Medium. And I'm just going to go ahead and do the normal highlight areas down the center of my face. And if, let's say you had taken that cream bronzer down too far, this is a good time. You can always take your concealer and drag it all the way back to help clean it up and carve it back out. So you can always fix that if that does happen. And then I'm just going to go under my eyes, onto my eyelids to prime them and cancel out any blue or redness. Okay, now I'm just gonna blend that out. Okay, so now we're gonna set everything in place with powder. I'm using the powder that I'm working on, but you can use any sort of translucent loose powder. And I'm just gonna go ahead and dip my beauty blender into the powder. And first I'm gonna make sure I have no creasing under my eyes. And then we're gonna make sure we have enough powder down here under our eyes because we are gonna do, not a dark smoky look, but we're definitely gonna be going in with a lot of shadows and glitter. So you just wanna catch all that fallout. So we are just gonna let that bake while we do our eyeshadow. So this first shade I'm going in with is Blanc by Anastasia, and this is just a nice creamy white shade that's gonna help set the lid so that we have a nice base for all the shadows to go on top. Next we're going in with Orange Soda by Anastasia, and if you're anywhere near my skin tone, this is a really great transition shade for pretty much any warm eye look you wanna do. We're just putting that all over the crease to really help create a nice gradient for all the shadows that we're going to be putting on after. Okay, and once we have our transition shade on, we're going to go and continue to build up that color in the crease. So I'm going to go in with Makeup Geek Chickadee, and this is just a really nice orange sherbet kind of shade, so it's a few shades deeper than that Orange Soda, but it's still pretty light. And I'm going to use that same fluffy brush and just go in right over the Orange Soda to just help deepen that up. And this next shade we're going in with is called Early Bird, and this is also by Makeup Geek, and this is just a little bit deeper than Chickadee. Shade is called Morocco by Makeup Geek, and this is a much more red tone, deeper orange. And I know that we're going in with a lot of shadows here, but the key to a really beautiful, seamless, well-blended eye look is really layering shades and building upon each other. So I like to go in with one shade and then a couple shades deeper and then a couple shades deeper instead of just going straight in with that dark shade from going with a light shade. And that just really helps blow out the look and create this gradient that really makes it look like you know what you're doing and that you spent a lot more time than you did. And it just gives a more professional, artistry level eyeshadow look in the end. So don't be afraid to go in with 5 to 8 shadows for an eyeshadow look. It's really the key to having a seamless blend. So taking that Morocco shade, I'm switching over to a smaller brush, and this is a MAC 221, and it's still fluffy, so it's not going to deposit too much color, but it's going to help blend it out and diffuse it better than just plopping it down. So I'm just going to take that Morocco shade. And I'm focusing this more on the outer V, and I will be running it through the crease, but I'm really putting the concentration of color on the outer V, and then I'm gonna work it in. Sorry, my husband came, he got the wrath. Okay, so continuing on with Morocco. Okay, so now that we've got that really beautiful orangey shade built up, which is one of my favorite colors to use on my eyes, we're gonna go ahead and incorporate some glitter. I'm gonna go in with this shimmery shade underneath the glitter just so that it's extra opaque. And this is by Colored Rain and it's called Flashy. And it's just a really nice reflective gold shade. And I'm gonna take this on my finger. I find that shimmers oftentimes work better on your finger and you can really pack the color in. Otherwise they can get a little dusty and fall out and really not have the ultimate payoff that they can. So I'm just gonna put that on the lid. And you don't need to be too precise with this because we are going over it with a glitter. So it's mostly gonna get covered. It's just to prevent the lid from being too translucent through the glitter. Okay, so see, that's super pretty on its own. So if you didn't want to go in with glitter and you're not a glitter kind of girl, don't worry about it. This will be a beautiful eye look without the glitter. And this is the star of the show today that I'm most excited about. This is the Stila Magnificent Metals Glitter and Glow Eyeshadow in Gold Goddess. And this is such a beautiful shade. It's got this super, super reflective gold sheen to it. But what I love about these is they are the cleanest, most foolproof way of working with glitter. So most glitters, you have to apply a glitter glue and then go in with a loose glitter. And that can be so messy. I mean, when I use glitters like that, I find glitter like weeks later in places I didn't even know I went around the house in glitter. Like I'll find it in my hair, I'll find it on the floor, like down where the dog eats. I mean, it just gets everywhere. And so this has been like the best invention in my opinion as far as glitter goes because it just makes it so easy to work with glitter. So it's got this doe foot applicator and I'm just gonna go ahead and place it right over where we put that flashy shade. And that flashy shade underneath is just gonna help prevent any see-through with the glitter. Do you see how pretty that is? And the doe foot just makes it so easy. You can basically carve out the crease here using the doe foot. Oh, I love this so much. These are wet when you first apply them, so you're gonna wanna try to look down until they dry to avoid it transferring all the way up into the crease. So just be patient, and then I'm just gonna pat those edges out with my finger so that they've got kind of a nice, it's not just a harsh end. How stunning is this? Okay, now I'm gonna go in on the other eye. Okay, so now that the glitter is on and it's mostly dry, I want to deepen up this outer V ever so slightly. I love how warm and golden this is and it's very bronzy. I don't want to go too heavy with it, but I definitely want to create just a tiny bit of dimension, which is why I'm going to go in with this super duper tiny little MAC brush. It's a 218. I know that this is not made anymore, but you can find tons of brushes similar. And I'm just going to take this Makeup Geek shade called Americano. And this is a beautiful, really deep, warm brown. It's got a little bit of red to it, but I just love it because it's not as severe as black. and it can just really help create a little bit more depth in that outer V. So I'm just gonna take a tiny little bit here on my brush, and I'm just gonna run this along the lower lash line on the outer V and just drag it up, but I'm not taking it too high. You wanna keep this low, and you can even use it to help blend in that glitter. And we're just keeping this very, very light here. And then we're gonna go back in with the brush that we used with the Morocco, and we're just gonna help blend that together. So see how that just really helped create a little bit more depth, but since we didn't take it too high, it's not become a full-blown smoky eye. It just has a lot more dimension than if you just left it with the orange. So I think that that is it for the shadow. Now we're gonna do our liner. And I do wanna say that liner over glitter can definitely be a little trickier. It can get a little clumpy. So I always prefer liquid over pencil because pencil can tend to kind of ball up. Where liquid, you at least have that chance of the wet liner kind of gliding over. So we're gonna use the Tarte Tartist Double Take Eyeliner, and we're just gonna use the felt tip black side. And I think today, because I really want the glitter to be the star of the show, I'm not gonna go with a wing. I'm just gonna go with a nice solid line over the upper lid. And then we're also gonna go with lashes. So I think with lashes, a wing, and glitter, we might be a little bit, a little too much. And I try not to press too hard when I'm going over glitter because I don't want to disturb the glitter. I try to just lightly run it over so that eyeliner has a better chance of gliding. Okay, so now that we've got the liquid liner on, I want to go in with a little bit of that Americano shade, which was just that deep brown, if I can find it, right here. And I just want to help soften up that liner with a little bit of powder over, and that's also going to help set the liner in place. Just going to take a little bit of that and just pat it over the line. You don't want to do any sort of sweeping motions or anything like smudgy because you will disrupt all the glitter and it will just fall down. Okay. So I think that's it for the eyes. We'll come back to the lower lash line once we finish up the skin. So I'm gonna go ahead and wipe away that bake. And I'm just gonna take a little bit more of the translucent powder to help that process out. And I'm just gonna take my Kat Von D brush and dust it away. Okay, so now that we've dusted away the bake, I wanna go ahead and set the rest of my face. And I'm using this Cover FX Pressed Mineral Foundation in the shade G+50. All of their plush shades have this really nice olive undertone, and I'm so olive that I really appreciate that. And the reason I just picked this up, and I think that's gonna be my new thing, is it's talc-free. And that's really important to me, and I find myself using a lot of powders that aren't talc-free because I can't find any that I like that are talc-free, that are pressed. There's a couple out there that are translucent loose that are talc-free, but I can't find a lot of pressed foundation powders that are talc-free. I bought one from Pure thinking that that would be, it's not. I bought one from Bare Minerals, it's not. So I found this the other day and I was really excited about it. So I'm gonna go in with this huge powder brush by IT Cosmetics, and it is called the Heavenly Luxe Jumbo Powder Brush number 3. And I really like this because it kind of simulates like a velour puff. It just really stamps the powder into your face. And I feel like it does it so quickly because you can just cover your entire, like, one entire side with one stamp. So I'm gonna go ahead and take the powder on this brush and just stamp it into the rest of my face to really help set it. Especially because it's so hot today, I definitely wanna set my makeup because it's gonna just slide right off if not. Okay. So now we're gonna go in and finish up the lower lash line, and then we'll get to the skin and do lashes. The first thing I'm gonna do is take this Sigma Flat Definer E15 brush. I've talked about this brush before, but it's the perfect shape to really stamp shadow into your lower lash line to use as liner. So I'm gonna go in with that Americano shade, which is that deep reddish brown, and I'm just gonna stamp that all along my lower lash line. Little MAC brush, and I'm just gonna buff that out on the lower lash line using this Makeup Geek Morocco shade. take this small tapered Wayne Goss brush. This is a number 19. And this is a little bit bigger than the brush that we just used, but it's still tapered and fluffy, so it's gonna help diffuse color on the lower lash line so it's not too severe. And I'm gonna take a mixture of Early Bird and Morocco and just buff all of that out. Okay, so now we've got this really beautiful glittery golden orangey eye, and I'm just living for it. These tones are my absolute favorite. I have to push myself to use things other than warm orangey tones because I would wear this every day if I could. So now I'm gonna go ahead and line my upper and lower waterline to really help give that dimension. And when you're using something like a glitter and these strong tones on the eyes, it's really nice to put liner in your tight line to just help make the eyes pop out because we have so much going on. You don't want them to get lost in the shadow. So I'm gonna use my Marc Jacobs Highliner in the shade Blacker. This is just a little mini. I think I got it in like a Sephora rewards kit. I know this is the creepiest thing to watch, but it does look good. Okay, so now that the eyes are done, let's go in and finish up the skin and then we'll pop on our lashes. So I'm gonna go ahead, we did already do that cream kind of bronzy contour, but I'm gonna go over everything with some bronzer to kind of set it all in place and help intensify it. So I'm using my Hourglass Radiant Bronze Light. This is one of my favorite bronzers because it's got that highlight shade kind of swirled through it. So it just gives this really beautiful, glowy lit from within bronze that I just think is so stunning. I'm just gonna go ahead and do the perimeter of my face. Okay, so now we've got this bronzy sun-kissed look all over the skin. I think I'm gonna hold off and not contour today just because we added that dimension in the first step with the foundation, and I just feel like I like how glowy and bronzy this looks, and a contour can maybe make it look a little bit more harsh than I'm looking for this specific look. So now we'll go ahead and blush, and I'm gonna use this Hourglass blush in Incandescent Electra. And this is similar to the bronzer. It's got a highlight shade swirling through, but I just love the coral orangey tones to it. And I think it'll play really nicely with the orange tones that we have on the eyes. So I'm gonna take this this Sigma Powder Blush Brush F10, just a really nice blush shape. I'm gonna go ahead and rosy up the cheeks. Okay, so now let's go ahead and highlight. And this is a brand new highlighter, I haven't used it yet. It's by Stila, it's called Heaven's Hue Highlighter in the shade of Brilliance. And I know they had a couple of other shades of this out, but this is a brand new shade and it's a really beautiful like golden champagne. And it's got this like weird putty texture. It's almost like a cream, but it's a powder. So I'm gonna take the round side of my beauty blender and just get some of this highlighter on here. I'm gonna go ahead and stamp it into my cheekbones. It's beautiful. Goes really nicely with the tones of this look. Take some down the center of my nose, the tip of my nose, my brow bone and forehead, my chin, and a little bit on my cupid's bow. Now I'm gonna also put some with my finger onto my inner tear ducts. Okay, so for lashes, today I'm going to be using Lily lashes in the style Mykonos. And this is one of my favorite pairs of lashes of all time. I've worn this one several times. I wore these on my wedding day. I just think that it's such a gorgeous, fluffy, beautiful shape. So I've already trimmed these because I've worn them before. And I'm going to go ahead and use the Duo Latex-Free Lash Glue, pop these on, do my brows, and I'll be right back for the lips. Okay guys, so I did the lashes. These are the Mykonos from Lily Lashes. They're just so fluffy and pretty, and I think that they complement this look really nicely because they don't flare out too much, and since we didn't do a wing and we're keeping this all pretty rounded, I just really like the way that they lay on the eye. I did my brows, and now we'll go into the lips. And I definitely want to do a nude for this because it's such a bronzy, golden, warm look. And I don't want to do anything that's too bright or too pink. I want to keep it in like the nude family. So I'm going to go in with this Bite Lip Pencil in the shade 36 and just line my lips. And now I'm gonna go in with Cameron, which is a really pale nude, and I think it'll just be really pretty. And kind of almost like concealer lips, but I love that. Like, I'm a huge fan of a pale nude, and it's kind of got this creamy, slightly pink base to it, so it's not too brown. Okay, we're just gonna let that set for a minute, and then we'll go back in with the liner to just help blend the liquid lipstick into the liner that we already have on. Okay guys, so this is the completed look. I hope that you love it as much as I do. These golden tones on the eyes with the warm crease is just my favorite look of all time. I'm such a warm tone kind of girl, so this is exactly the type of look that I love to create. And yeah, I just threw my hair up because it is so hot right now. I can't even think about like turning on the curling iron and trying to mess with that whole situation. So yeah, I hope that you guys enjoyed this. Let me know what else you want to see on my channel, and I'll see you in my next tutorial. Bye guys!